first if we take a win here. All right, it looks like we are off to the races, and we have already instant divergence with sticks in the sanctuary and 20 rupees in Link's house.
Nothing major out of the first two chests, and no, I have no bias against Jet whatsoever. I've raced Jet plenty of times, but the longer the seed, the more entertainment you all get. That's what we want, right?
Oh, absolutely. All right, so we already have... We're going to go ahead and follow our divergence here as Chisame is heading toward visiting our uncle, seeing the hearts from our Tier 1 tree pull, while Jet making the way up. Probably going to check the tree pull, and maybe we're going to get an early check on the lumberjack ledge.
Yep, probably bush crabs as well.
As just a little bit of love from our uncle. Border crabs with single rupees, not the most helpful. But speaking of helpful, that's an ice rod.
So Turtle Rock's got to be a pendant.
Probably how that works, and it's just 10 sticks from the lumberjacks, so not worrying about Aghanim quite yet, but there's still a chance that we could see the wizard twice this seed instead of once.
Full Metal 501, this is normal difficulty. If I'm not mistaken, as far as the league, up until we get to the playoffs, it's all normal difficulty. We've got a Bombos in the mushroom spot.
I believe everything's in normal difficulty, but that doesn't mean it's going to be normal seeds by any stretch of the imagination going through. And starting next week, we'll have inverted. After that, we have some co-op mode. Week 5, cross-world entrance. Key sanity. And then standard for a nice palate cleanser. And there's a nice tier 2 tree pull on Jet's side. We get bombs.
Yep, you are not going to argue about that tree pull right before heading into Kakariko Village.
Alright, moving into the village, what will we have there in the thieves' hideout? First part of our puzzle gets us a heart container, another heart container, the mirror, nice early find, and 10 sticks.
And then what do we have in the back?
$20 and we're out.
Yep, just a little bit more money. Hopefully they find a little bit more money though, because we're still short on the bottle vendor.
Yeah, and unless we get more drops, there's not enough rupees yet left available, I don't think.
Yeah, you could keep like dropping into the well or going into Blind's hideout to get the rupees there, but that is time consuming.
Yep. At this point, generally you're going to find at least a big 20 somewhere along the line, right?
You would think that's what odds say, but instead we'll find a Moon Pearl, which I'm sure they're probably happier about.
Oh yeah, that's a nice little early, some really interesting early finds here. There's a big 20 there, so still puts Jet about 8, 9. I can't math this morning. Holy crap!
Yeah, but we did also find a mushroom there as well. But Chisame, having no bombs, isn't able to get the Moon Pearl just yet. Is going to need to go buy bombs first and then go grab that Moon Pearl.
Interesting to see if the bottle vendor comes up with an item that Chisame can't access quite yet. As we gain some literacy from the chickens.
Got all sorts of items so far in Kakariko.
But nothing that opens up a whole lot, except for that book giving us access into the part of Desert Palace. Interesting though, we're 4.5 minutes in, and I don't think we've seen a map check yet.
Nope, no map check. So Jet is actually going to buy bombs as well because he was low and we don't actually have a weapon. So we probably are not going to see bottle vendor on either side on this first route through Kakariko.
Curious to see if that bottle vendor's been holding out on us this whole time, but it's going to take us a while before we see it. Jet making the way over to the library and the race game. Do we need boots right away? Not quite, but you could wish you had that money, though.
Yeah, one bad thing though, if you notice, Chisame doesn't look that far behind Jet. It's because he did not go back up to the north side of Kakariko Village. He's missing the moon pearl.
That could come back to bite them. Hopefully they don't write that off as a location they've already completed.
Yeah, we've sadly already seen that once this tournament. Or league.
Well, if you're a Chisame fan and a Team Kappa fan, you're hoping that doesn't end up being the case. We're gonna make our way over to the South Shore now. See what the dam, mini Moldorm, and potentially Ice Rod Cave are holding on to us. Of course, we can also go left here with access to desert, with the door to Desert Palace open to us. Though depending on key layout, we may not be able to get much done.
Yeah, it would be an interesting call to see, because it might be a big waste of time being nothing accessible, or you might be able to potentially get both items out of there. Won't be able to clear it yet.
Curious to see though, there is a little bit of early breadcrumb that says maybe you should check this out, but I think we're gonna go to the right side first. If we get our first map check and find that's regular crystals on Eastern and Desert and a pendant on the Tower of Hera.
Yep, blue pendant was on Hera, and it looks like crystals 1 and 2 on Eastern and Desert.
Alright, now we're heading into Mini Moldorm Cave. Bombs are only weapons to put down these things.
Chisame has to be careful though, down to 1 heart.
And so far we get 20 rupees, the red boomerang, more bombs, the flute, and 10 sticks. And Jet deciding they're not going to go any further toward the Ice Rod Cave because they're going to go pick up their flute.
And this is actually the faster route. If you find the flute there, it is faster to save and quit. Go activate your flute and then just fly to 8. But yeah, chat bringing this up, this is probably one of the best things for Chisame, because Chisame looks like it's actually going to walk to Ice Rod Cave, but with that flute is going to be pushed towards Kakariko Village sooner rather than later, and oh, never mind, Chisame, the Octorok, said no and denied access.
Well, the armies of the South Shore are some of the more deadly enemies in the Light World, though we had not reached the crabs doing a bit more damage. But as we serenade the Swag Duck, the goose will be loose, and Jet will have access to a lot more of the world. Including now we have logical access to the mountain, but not a whole lot we can accomplish there quite yet. I mean, I take that back. We do have access to the, unfortunately, pendant Tower of Hera. And it looks like Jet's heading up the mountain now, gonna go ahead and sequence break the old man, which a typical play for runners of this caliber, and Chisame is going ahead and, yes, checking off those bombable checks they could not make earlier, so they will have access to their Moon Pearl in just a moment. So where do you think our progression is hiding out here, Sir Linkalot?
I actually think our progression is hiding in Desert Palace. I think the breadcrumbs are leading you there, but without everything to access it, you're going to probably skip out on it just because of how little is over there.
Alright, and the old man thanking us a little bit for bringing him out of that dark cave, and that's Chisame's Moon Pearl now. Jet making their way up the mountain. We'll see if they if they decide to dip into the Tower of Hera or not with their mirror in hand.
I potentially see that, and the nice thing is, Jet wasn't able to do this on the trip back to Kakariko. Chisame is going to be able to check Bottle Vendor, but
unfortunately,
just get $20.
Yeah, 20% rebate, and there's a fighter sword hanging out in Spectacle Rock. We're definitely going to go grab that.
Yeah, because if Hera is completable, assuming it's not Firelock now, that sword lets us kill Moldorm.
There's no guarantee that blue pendant's worth anything. We do have access to the Book of Medora, but no one has gone to check the pedestal quite yet. Now, We'll get a nice little, hopefully, hint out, and we find out that it is indeed fire locked, just before we get to the entrance.
Well, that's, I guess, nice. I would say you've already been up here. You might as well go check the first 2 chests, though. There's a, decent chance that there might be an item in one of them. Plus, you can check the tablet.
We'll not be able to gain access to the item off the tablet as you need the Master Sword to do so, but we'll have knowledge of what's inside at least. As we get the Cane of Samaria from the Ice Rod Cave.
Yep, and Jet has, got the flute, so it's not too terrible to get there. But for right now, at the very least, Jet has skipped that.
We have flippers on the Ether Tablet! We need to find another sword.
It's possible they may not be needed. We'll see when we get to the Dark World. We'll see what Swamp Palace is. Because if it's just Ice Palace, that's a crystal, and nothing's inside Swamp, then those flippers aren't technically needed, potentially.
Logically, yes, but for runners of these caliber, and we find out the boots are in the sewers. So we need the lamp in order to get access to the boots, by logic.
I have a feeling Jet's not going to care so much about the lamp. He knows where the boots are, or maybe not, he pulls the flute out.
Probably gonna go knock out Ice Rod Cave? No, I'm gonna go check the mushroom. So fresh off a saving quit and looking to save scum that potentially.
Which we do know where Samaria is, so this actually, if, Chisame does the same. Chisame can fake clutter when we have access.
And there is the hard reset, getting the heart container for the mushroom. So I was asking, the ice rod was in the lamp chest in the escape sequence, and Jet, with that knowledge that the boots are in the dark sewers, probably gonna go ahead and take care of the escape sequence now.
Yep, probably will check Uncle as well. Yep, so it's gonna get the ice rod.
Go check the Uncle, go through to Zelda's cell, mirror out, and then go through the sewers.
That is assuming we find a small key in the first chest. It's not guaranteed like it is in standard, so it's possible the boots are in the back of the escape and we need gloves as well.
At least that's the ideal routing you're going for. Whether it cooperates, that's yet to be seen.
Yep, that's the fun part. You may want to route the game one way, but the seed is going to tell you no.
As these things are in Randomizer. Chisame getting our first Dark World map check, and we indeed need those flippers, as that's a 5 crystal on Swamp, 6 on the Palace of Darkness, and it looked like, was that pendants are on the left side.
Yep, Skullwoods and Thieves Town, I believe I saw green on Thieves Town.
Of course it's Pendant Thieves Town. And Chisame getting knowledge that they need to find the Master Sword to get the flippers, which we do definitely know we need now.
There's that key.
So it looks like the routing is going to work out for Jet here. Chisame going to make their way down to the couple items here, a couple of nothing here in Hera, but good knowledge at least to be gained here.
Yep, gonna check at least the hint here, which boots are in the sewers, and grab the small key, and then it's gonna be leaving. I can completely see Chisame, though, doing probably the exact same thing as Jet, just to now knowing those boots.
Yeah, definitely given the knowledge, and I imagine both of our runners are going to be in about the same place. So speaking of these runners, you should give them a follow on Twitch if you've not already done so. Putting themselves out there and giving you lots of fun entertainment on this early start on a Saturday. Show them a little bit of love with a follow. Now we're going to take care of the first mini-boss of the game here, the ball and chain guard, though I think the true boss of the escape sequence will be the key rat had we not had the access to the sword already. Speaking of which, Jet heading into the back now will have to fumble their way through the dark to get to their boots, but imagine they're pretty confident in their ability to do so right now.
Yeah, I think the lure of the boots is just too much. If you don't know this is the dark, you're gonna like pull some maps up and learn how to do this in the dark.
Though having access to the sword makes this a little bit easier as you can follow the sparks. To help keep your position.
Jet can't see a thing, but those snakes don't matter. He tears through them all.
Alright, so we got 20 rupees there, so we need to go to the back of the escape. So given this, they're not technically lamp locked, they're actually just glove locked. I believe is how the logic... It could be either locked by the lamp or the gloves because of where they are in there.
Yes, because of where that key was, we technically could be locked either way at this point. We wouldn't know until we find one of the items.
And we still have quite a few checks because neither of our owners has been to the Eastern Palace area at all. So we still have the checks inside Eastern as well as the 3 items in the closet of the Kakarika Village Elder. So now we know we're going to find boots in here. What else might we find?
Heart container and 20 rupees.
I believe that was our sank heart as well. Because I heard 2 heals.
Yeah.
So just a little left of vanilla on that one. Alright, and then...
So just making that play to Eastern Palace.
Not a whole lot else left to be checked here, except for the desert area. We do have access to the palace, and with the boots in hand, we can now clear all the front side. Do not have access to the Land Molus without some source of fire and a lift upgrade. Alright, so what's the Elder got here? 20 bucks, 3 bombs, and the Master Sword. That's our access to the flippers now.
Yep, so that gives us all of Zor's domain, all the flippers checks as well.
Now, how about flippers leading to that power glove from the King of all scams here?
That would be a terrible place for it, just because we don't have anywhere to farm rupees yet.
It's actually not the worst thing, because there is a 300 rupee stack sitting on the library right now.
This is true.
So not nearly as troll as I thought it was going to be in the beginning, but I still don't like it. Oh, we do have a lot of checks when Jet heads back up the mountain to pick up those flippers. So far, just the compass here in Eastern. Still need to find our logical access to these boots we have on Jet's side and now on Chisame's side. That can be provided through either a lift upgrade or the lamp, which by now it has to be right here in Eastern Palace.
Oh, yep, there's our lift upgrade.
So now we're looking for part 2 of our Dark World puzzle. We need to find a hammer or another glove.
Oh, and potentially, we'll see. Chisame looks like they're going to turn the mushroom in. We'll see if they're going to also steal it back, if they don't like what this is.
They probably won't like it, because it's just going to be a heart container. And we're doing pretty good on health in this early game.
Yep. Steals the mushroom back. He's not happy.
As we get my favorite hint of the game, Cash is in Ganon's tower.
All for Link's retirement fund.
Yeah, absolutely, gonna save a little bit of rupees for after the king of all bacon is slain. Alright, Chisame making the way over to the Eastern Palace. They'll have their lift upgrade in just a moment. So on Jet's side here, after they pick up the big key from its vanilla location, which means the final chest, the big chest, will be out of logic. Unless that lamp turns up somewhere that we have not seen yet. And right now, all we've got left is the desert area.
Well, we've also got Zoras, because we can go grab those flippers if they want to go back up Death Mountain to grab them.
I think potentially I think that may not be the worst thing to flute to Kakariko, grab that stack of rupees, and then go check out and then go knock off Zora. Because just get just the Cane of Burna out of the Eastern Palace big chest, giving us access to Spike Cave and Laser Bridge eventually. Alright, Jet's gonna go ahead and finally walk over to, finally take their long walk to a cold cave. And they'll be rewarded with the Cane of Samaria.
Yep, this was kind of the one outstanding spot Jet hadn't checked that Chisame has.
And Jet 100% needed to get to at some point, because that's gotta be Cane. Moving on here, we'll see where Jet decides to go next, whether they go up to the Zora area, or if they go to the desert. Or if they go pick up their flippers on the mountain, and looks like they're heading for... Oh, they're back to 8.
Chat saying Lamp can't be in Bonk Rocks. That it could be, because we had the gloves that were completely within access from the word go. The back was completely within logic. The only chest that was outside of logic was the one inside of Dark Cross at this moment.
Now, an interesting move on Jet's side. They decide, despite having access to the actual flippers, they're going for a fake flipper. If there's an item on Zora Ledge, that's gonna be a bit of a time loss. Making a forced double dip of the Zora area. Say the hammer ends up on Zora Ledge, they'll have to come back. Unless they can arm a double water walk state. Alright, so Jet's swimming on down to the portal, the Whirlpool Hill. They'll be up to the Zora area in just a moment. They don't have their rupees yet for King Zora either. And they do have access to a stack that would give them just enough money in the library.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe that's why he decided to do this, just because he doesn't have the rupees, so he's going to have to come back anyways. Even if there is something on Zora Ledge.
But there's our lamp there. So what an interesting chain of logic we have here.
Yeah, they were not very nice with that.
No, but look at what we've got here. We've got 2 swords and a lamp. And we're still missing pieces for Dark World.
So with the lamp, though... Oh, never mind. I thought Jet might be going up the mountain to at least, and maybe check Hera, but no. We're going to Desert.
And there's another stack of 300 rupees. We can check the Zora, but it's starting to smell a little bit Aga.
She saw me checking Bonk Rocks. I don't believe Jet's been here just yet. We get a tempered sword, so yeah, he's definitely not been there.
So that's our access. That's a nice tempered sword here. Chisame making their way up, probably going to knock Lumberjack Ledge off their list of things to do now. Having seen the boots, they're thinking, okay, maybe I have to do Aga because of this. But Aga may be our Dark World access at this point.
It's possible. It makes sense to check Desert, because at this point, for Jet at the very least, not for Chisame yet, needs that lamp. But this is clearable.
As it gets acknowledged that there's just some cash above the post. The Graveyard Ledge, not a thing we're worrying about now. Also a flipper, fake flipper from Chisame's side. They're a little bit lower on money than Jet is. But Jet now has access to a second stash of rupees that'll give them enough to find out what the King of All Scams is holding on to right now. There's one of the items here in the desert. We can now clear this dungeon. And there's the hammer, so put the nail in the Aga coffin now.
Yep, Aga not required. My call of progression in Desert Palace was good.
Indeed. So we're gonna go head back and take care of the land molus now, I would only imagine. And I think Jet will probably dip down to the ledge and grab that 300 rupee stack.
Yeah, probably.
It's not quite the nail in the pedestal coffin yet, but the only thing I can see the only progression item left that can't be on the pedestal I can see now is the fire rod.
Yep, that's the only one. Oh,
So
and hookshot. Hookshot could also be there.
Sorry, the hookshot cannot be there. I know.
It can.
I'm looking for the things that can't be.
Oh yeah,
the
fire
fire
rod would be the only one that cannot be there. Yes.
Alright, so Chisame finding just the big 20 there. Gonna pull out their flute. That looked interesting. Alright, and they're gonna head into the desert and pick up their hammer and Dark World access right now. Always fun having to light these torches the slow way. We're gonna head back to a land mole fight. Difference being between these two runners, Chisame has access to the tempered sword, but with the ice rod in hand, this won't be too hard of a fight, though he does not have a full magic bar. So looking at what we've got, when we enter the Dark World in just a moment on Jet's side, we have access to quite a bit. So we're one piece away from Swamp Palace. We can go into the Palace of Darkness and do most of that. A Hype Cave available, the Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, and I wonder if either Jet or Chisame will actually go up to Death Mountain at this point before going Dark World, just to get the flippers and maybe check Hera. I know you have to go to the basement, but there are 2 items inside of Tower of Hera. And now you have the hammer as well, so you can also go to East Death Mountain. Yes, they do both know flippers are on the tablet.
And they both chose to do that before walking into the Tower of Hera to pick up nothing but information. There's 20 bucks from the Desert Hermit. Alright, Jet, what do you decide to do next? I would hope... I kind of feel like you want to get flippers sooner rather than later.
Yeah, like it makes sense skipping it if that's your only checkup there, because that's just kind of a waste of time. But now with the hammer, it's not so much. But looks like we're going to the Dark World.
And to pick up the bottle fender rebate that they had not done so already.
Yep, that was kind of that another outstanding check of Jet because of the lack of rupees, and now our runners are within a rupee of each other.
Alright, looks like we're gonna make... Oh! No, okay, he kind of jipped me for a second.
I thought for a second there, I'm like, oh, Jet's gonna go check the ped first.
Well, I'll potentially maybe if they dive into Skull Woods, they make the check. Because then you walk up here, right, and Jet getting their map check on, seeing Pendant and Skull Woods, which may make the play a little less fun to see, but they can check everything except for the boss right now. Then maybe they round in a pedestal check with that. Perhaps a momentary hesitation, thinking about, do I just run straight for the pedestal? But no, I can do that after I check these ones. But first we get the small key here from Skull Woods. Give Dozer Rude, and we get the big key. Looks like they're going to bomb jump for it just about immediately here as Chisame is taking care of Land Molus.
Almost with the 0 cycle.
Oops. And a big chest is just the compass. Bonking back across, another check here to be made in Skull Woods. There is 1 rupee.
Our runners have the same amount of rupees now.
Glorious synchronization. Alright, Chisame's going to go ahead and pick up the money from Agina, so they'll be up ahead in the lead. Jet deciding not to go to the back, despite there being 1 item left to be found.
As well as having Kane and Samaria, so that check's not actually that bad to make now.
Indeed, as we find the Quake Medallion on the bumper ledge. It looks like Jet is going to go ahead and knock out their Bonk Rocks checks, and I believe that's King's Tomb access as well.
Yep, Bonk Rocks, King's Tomb, Graveyard. Actually, they probably won't check Graveyard Ledge. I believe both runners have knowledge that there was cash above the pose, if I'm not mistaken.
And Jet will be happy to find their Tempered Sword.
Chisame is going to enter the Dark World a little differently. We're going to start out at Hype Cave, it looks like.
Alright, so what kind of cave do you think we got here?
I'm going to estimate a 6 out of 10 on Hype.
I'm kind of feeling another stick cave. Alright, so we got Hype Cave on the right, and King's Tomb on the left, starting out with the Titan's Mitts, and Red Mail on the left side for Jet. 50 rupees, a piece of heart, and 20 rupees, so you gotta like seeing those Titan's Mitts there.
Yeah, I said 6 to 10, but Titan's Mitts just, even by themselves, that's pretty good.
I'll bump it up to an 8 with Titan's Mitts. Because that gives you a lot more access to the world, and this will speed up Chisame's southern route that they started with, because now they'll have access to Jeremiah right off the bat.
Yep, Jeremiah. Don't have to save and quit. You can get to Village of Outcasts.
As we get Stumpy giving us the Fisher Price My First Shield. Collectible plastic dinner plates.
Oh, Jet did go back into Skull Woods.
And there's just a small key there. Do they go further and check Pedestal? Nope.
Yep, doesn't look like it. I think the biggest thing those mitts do, though, other than we're missing Hookshot, we've only checked a couple locations on Death Mountain, and now at this point, pretty much all of Death Mountain potentially is open.
And not only that, but with those Titan's Mitts in hand, we just gained access to Ice Palace.
This is true.
And we do have the Cane of Samaria. The flippers are on the Ether Tablet, and any runner can get that at any point they want to walk up the mountain. As we're getting things go triple boom. Sorry, Pedestal fans, it's not to be today.
I mean, I know there was the race that was kind of ongoing when this race started on Speed Gaming Deutsch. Anybody watching that, they got their dream. They got an egg up head seat on that one.
Always fun to see so Jeremiah was a bullfrog, and now he'll be some kind of craftsman. What will it be? We'll find out momentarily. Alright, and our runners are high-fiving their way through here. Now, with the Cane of Samaria and the hammer, now we have access to the magic bat via the potion, the fake powder glitch. And we do have an ice rod to burn through our magic meter. But we're gonna knock down some hammer pegs first. And that's a shovel! Who likes fetch quests? We've got a few of them done here. And it looks like Jet on the left is making their dive into the Pendant Thieves Town and getting the big key right away. Alright, so what are your bets on the craftsman type today, Sir Link?
I think they're just making rupees. They're forging.
Oh boy, are they ever!
They're forging all the rubies.
We got a Dwarven Mint here. Look at all that. Alright, and we're gonna go ahead and dive in there, fire off some ice rod shots. We'll see if Jet decides to go deeper in here. That's just Uncle Bombs, and they're going deeper. And on the right, you've woken me from my slumber. How dare you? Today I curse thee with $20.
He's no Bruce Wayne.
Indeed. Alright, just moving on deeper into Thieves Town on Jet's side. We'll see if Chisame decides to pick up the purple, but probably not. Having already gone through most of the Southern Dark World.
Yeah, he might come back for it. I think he's thinking about Thieves Town first, though.
It's unfortunate to have another pendant dungeon there in Thieves Town, and we know on Jet's side that the pedestal is very dead, and there we finally get our first bottle of the seed, so perhaps Chisame will mirror to check out Knockoff Sick Kid.
Oh, not quite yet.
Perhaps, I think that actually makes sense. We get a single arrow and a piece of heart here. So they go through Thieves Town, and then when they get done with this area, then they head south, mirror knock that off, and then take care of the purple chest. As we get a second bottle here in the Village of Outcasts.
Yep, and looks like Chisame is gonna dip in as well.
And thus far, coming up nothing. Now, if Chisame just dives the first 4, that's potentially time saved if we don't see anything coming up through these next checks, as now we are forced to go to the big chest.
Yeah, and it might be a while before we find out if the Thieves Town dip pays off, if Jet does finish, because it is a green pendant, so who knows how long it'll take for us to go to Sahasrara and check. But with that, I believe Blind is going to have our final item.
Very curious to see if this pays off. We'll see what Chisame decides to do when they pick up a whole lot of nothing out of this 4th check. And they're done! So here we have probably our first big crux of decision-making here. So we'll see what Blind the Thief has. They're gonna get a bottle of Sick Kid check. That's just $50.
Just a heart container, so got that green pendant. That's kind of the major thing. We'll have to see when Jet goes to turn it in, though.
And with the money, all the money that Chisame side, they let loose their bee and filled their bottles with blue potions, as well as using the green for the refill. Alright, now Chisame is heading over to the mire area, so we'll get our first check of what of 2 pendants, or excuse me, medallions we're going to require. And that was fast.
Yep, I'm gonna see if I can catch that again. I want to say that was Quake. Because I could barely catch that on the stream itself.
I want to know how they process that information. Okay, now we're just going to get confirmation.
It must be Bombos.
It's definitely Bombos, because they're walking up to open it. So now, we can clear this dungeon.
Yep, Blamp and Samaria.
So Chisame going ahead, I'm just going to knock this out right now while I'm here. Meanwhile, Jet making their way down through the south. Won't have access to the Titansmith, so they won't be able to take care of Jeremiah quite yet. Those of you curious, the Titansmiths are in Hype Cave.
Yeah, so Jet will get to them.
That's just going to be a slightly less ideal routing, I suppose. Go ahead, dig and dig, and this was quite a number of digs to get a whole lot of nothing from the dig game this time.
Yeah, it might change as far as like Titan's Mit's locations. It might change, you know, how Jet is getting Jeremiah, but he may do the purple chest right away as well, since he's cleared Thieves Town.
Curious to see how this all plays out here. If we see anything of note here in Misery Mire. Have not yet found the big key. That's just another small.
And we had a God Mire.
I missed it. As Jet gets their dinner plate.
So we are technically looking for 2 items still in Mire. Potentially what Chisame is hoping for is that Vitreous has an item and then he's going to maybe dip back in looking for that 1 item and can immediately leave instead of doing a full clear of the dungeon.
So that's what you're hoping for. No fire rods, so nothing spooky happening today. Jet picking up their Titan's Mitts and cache of other garbage. Can't keep up the hype past the first check. Alright, so let's see what the Vitreous is holding on to today. Alright, so they do have access to the Blue Cane and Tempered Sword here. Okay, they're starting out with some spin strats. Curious they're not choosing to use the Blue Cane and just kind of dashing through it all.
Bombo's tablet.
20 bucks from the goddesses this time. Alright, now it's time to play Swat the Eyeball on Chisame's side. Has to be careful, another hug like that, and that's the end of this.
He got him in the corner though. And Jet following. Yeah, I mean even on Jet's side, those checks are so quick. It's like I know it's Bombo, so I'm gonna see if I can recognize it as Bombos, but nope.
Alright, so that's both items in the fire-locked portion of Misery Mire.
Well, it could be on the big chest or behind the big chest as well. We only checked technically the first 2 chests.
Aha. So we do have to find some more items here. What will they be? Well, hopefully we'll find out soon. Having access to sword beams in this first room definitely feels good as the entire room has 1 HP.
We'll see if Jet makes the same decision with the routing, getting the big key and a small key right away.
Looks like Chisame is just going to go straight for the firelock side. First firelock check here is Piece of Heart. And now they're going to head into the cutscene room. Nope. They're going to say, I don't want to do that quite yet, even though there is access to a hint tile within. There's a small key. And they're deciding... Yep.
Gonna save cutscene chest for last in case you actually need it.
And there's the heart container, so no cutscenes required today.
And Jet is not gonna go straight to Vitreous, is gonna go look for the items first.
So depending on how they route it, potential time loss. It looks like Chisame's going to go ahead and do our first check of the checkerboard. And within we get 3 bombs. We're out.
Okay, where does Chisame go now?
Well, they have the mirror in their hand.
Death Mountain.
They're going to pick up their flippers.
And the rest of Death Mountain as well, pretty much, except for 3 chests in Hookshot Cave. Maybe Turtle Rock, depending on... I mean, they might dip Turtle Rock if it's Bombos, but I think that's part of the reason why is the information on Turtle Rock, because then you're knowing exactly what you need for Go Mode.
And to see if we need that cape, because we know the Quick Medallion's hanging out on the bumper ledge. So if Turtle Rock doesn't require Quake, that means we're not have to worry about finding a magic cape somewhere.
And Chisame is gonna grab flippers, and Jet did check cutscene chests, so we're gonna get an idea of the hint, but this is a bit of a time loss for Jet.
So far, Jet been investing in 2 potential time losses, unless the green pendant from Thieves Town comes up with something.
Yep, and Chisame is gonna skip Tower of Hera, doesn't want to go into that basement.
A glove is held by someone friendly. Well, they already have that information as they're holding on to those gloves.
So sadly, the hint not even worth it.
It's always fun to find out the hint is about an item that was locked by... The hint tile was locked by that item. It's like, oh, thanks. And a long spiraled walk leads to just a piece of heart. Alright, Chisame, I'm gonna go ahead and head into the Paradox Cave. This is another check that Jet did that Chisame did not. Alright, there we get a heart refill for Chisame as well as 100 rupees. 5 more items on the top side. Or is it the bottom side? I can't tell.
It's a paradox.
Oh, this isn't a time paradox. Alright, piece of heart. Heart container. Heart piece. Heart piece. And 20 bucks. So,
Cave of Love.
love is but a good and a bad thing. Alright, Jet making their way through toward Vitreous. Nice. I will call out that nice little bit of dashing up to make sure that that Samaria projectile meets the crystal switch. I appreciated that.
Those swag strats.
Alright, so now we get our first look at Turtle Rock to find out that it is the Quake Medallion, so we've got to find a cape.
Cape is required.
So Chisame is heading into Hookshot Cave. Only one item we can access so far. Unfortunately, that berry is in the way. And just a piece of heart for all that trouble. So far, it's just a slightly cleaner Vitreous fight on Jet's side. It's good for them because they don't have the safeties.
Yeah, and he actually got a couple, or about 3 spins on Vitreous as well. Well, Vitreous was down in the coop.
Alright, and we get a heart container and the hookshot in Super Bunny Cave.
Well, I think it's time to go back to Hookshot Cave and check those 3.
Well, that's all of Death Mountain banged out.
Yeah, the only things that are going to probably be left, I don't know if Chisame is going to go back to Hera. I kind of doubt it.
Though they don't have the pedestal, I'll just give us they get a 3rd bottle with a red potion, the Fire Shield, and $5. And they're off the mountain. Alright, so that opens up a much easier Ice Palace, and now we have full access to Swamp Palace.
And that's where it looks like Chisame is actually going, is right to Swamp.
I definitely agree with this. Knocking out 2 And Swamp Palace has a bevy of items, and the Ice Palace is another crystal you need to complete, and you're in the area.
And question in chat, yes, that is what we were looking for. We need a bow, a fire rod, and cape for go mode.
And that cape can be hiding in a lot of places right now.
Basically anywhere that's not Turtle Rock.
No, taking a stock of where we have left. We have not seen the green pendant turn in, and there's one item, I believe, left in Skullwoods.
Yes, but we need a fire rod to access it.
Oh, no. It could be in the chest. Well, actually, yeah, you're right.
Yep, Jet checked the mid chest, so that one was checked. So we need a fire rod for the Skullwoods. We haven't checked purple chest.
Oh, joy! The magic mirrors and blinds hideout. It's not like we needed the mirror to get in this dungeon or anything.
No. So Jet is going to actually dive the pendant. We're going into Hera.
Did we find an item coming in the first time?
No, it was I believe compass was in the basement, and then the small key, because we had to come in here and get the big key. So, first chest that matters in Swamp Palace is 50 rubies.
Interesting, Jet deciding not to go for a coffee break. Just didn't want to spend the time on the transitions. Make sure you're keeping yourself warmed up for whatever may be facing you up ahead. I mean, there is a Moldorm fight potentially in front of you. Now, if the items come up before Moldorm, I imagine Jet will dip right out as soon as they find them, because they do have knowledge that the pedestal is nothing.
Yep. I highly doubt we will see a Moldorm fight unless there is an item on him.
And that is...
There's a decent chance there is an item on him.
Is that 1 in 3?
Yep.
We're making our way through Swamp on Chisame's side. Quite a bit of potential for items in here as we find just 10 sticks on that chest.
So there's 2 of our 6, and we haven't gotten any hints about left side.
But they're gonna head to the back first.
See what? Oh, we have the butter sword at the very least, and we know some bombs are in Ganon's tower.
Oh, good. There are bombs and cash in Ganon's tower. I do love that bonk and bounce strat. And yes, we are going to see a Moldorm fight. And getting that bumper skip. Definitely calling out Jet. All the execution coming up fairly good for him. Here comes Moldorm to test that.
Got a big key and a map.
Goes ahead and pulls out their hammer so they have that when they walk out of here. And there's the magic cape. So there's our access to the Quake Medallion and Turtle Rock. But we still would hope to find the fire rod before we walk in there. And since we have Bombos Medallion to open up Ice Palace, it's probably there. It's just how it works, right?
I mean, probably, yeah.
Anecdotally, anyway. But we still have a lot of checks, and we have a fairly easy fight of Argus here on Chisame's side. That is, of course, if the Argais decide to cooperate. Alright, and down go the Argais, and we'll take care of Argus himself, as Jet is going to make through the rest of their checks here in the mountain. And when they get to the Dark World side and Super Bunny, they'll have access to their hookshot.
Yep. Question chat about that. Hookshot is in Super Bunny Cave, so Jet should be getting it shortly.
Alright, so that's the end of Argus and Chisame's third crystal. So Chisame deciding to disregard pendants is so far paying off. Jet had the early lead because of of not having bombs in the early game on Chisame's side, but with deciding to disregard pendants and those gambles not paying off on Jet's side, it's just that same gamble coming up for one runner would decide the other, just different sides of the same choice. But there's still a lot of race to be had here, folks.
And we don't completely know if the pendant dips were a terrible idea, because we still have no idea on that green pendant.
But that blue pendant is 100%. It was 100% loss.
Yep, Tower of Hera was a complete loss, sadly. I mean, it gives you the butter sword, so it's going to help out a little bit on bosses, but I don't really think it's going to give you that time back that you lost having to run the dungeon, especially having to go to the basement.
Alright, and we will see what is on the left side of Swamp here. See if anything of note turns up. So Jet will make their way into Hookshot Cave and only have to visit it once because of their routing, so that's a couple seconds regained. At this point, it's still pretty tightly contested, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, we're still looking for the bow, so that's usually a nice equalizer, is that bow.
And right now, there's not a lot of places the bow can't be when we look at it. It can't be on the Helmosaur King. It can't be on the Armos Knights.
Yeah, other than that, it can be anywhere that we haven't seen. And here is one check that Chisame did not do that Jet is doing. We are getting the check on Spike Cave.
Unfortunately, we don't get the fun scenario of the cane locking the cape, but... Alright, so Chisame has taken care of the Bombos tablet. I'd imagine they're probably going to pick up the Quake soon, but I think first they're going to go knock out Ice Palace. So right now the bow taking the place of the ice rod is just a lot of locations a single item can be.
And it looks like Jet is actually following Chisame into Ice Palace as well.
Interesting to go for the lower item checks first. And we get the flippers is on the tablet. Thanks. We needed the flippers to get here.
So isn't that like the third hint we've gotten in a dungeon for an item that locks the dungeon, technically?
Yes, that is the third time we've seen that.
And a reason why Jet might have decided to go to Ice Palace over Swamp is the 3 hint.
I mean, you are looking for the bow. It can mean a lot of places. You're hoping the hint system's coming up gangbusters.
First chest inside Ice Palace, we got our first of the 3 items, we got 20 rupees. Firelight, I might have to agree with you on that.
I'm gonna have to agree with that as well. Think Dorm, maybe our writer today. We'll see. Alright, making our way deeper into Ice Palace here, as we have just kind of a slight race. We find out that the silver arrows are locked by the Pyramid Fairy. Do you think we get them?
Honestly, if they haven't checked, I mean, they haven't. Neither one of them has checked Pyramid yet. But we need to go to Pod for the 5-6. I don't think we're gonna see them because Jet and Chisame are both just fine running silverless,
and since we have access to Gold Sword, though, Chisame, I don't know if they go to King's Tomb at this point.
That would give them red mail. So
now there was Bonk Rocks was mail, and King's Tomb was it one? No, I don't know. I was trying to think of. Oh no, where was that butter sword? Crap.
I was in Tower of Hera.
Oh. So Chisame is guaranteed to be on, probably guaranteed to be on Tempered Sword for the rest of the game. That is an interesting little quandary, I feel. Whether we decide that that's worth our time or not.
So the hint, I mean, we know where silvers are, but I don't believe we're gonna really see that by either runner. Unless it gets to that point where we're just like looking for items and they need to check the pyramid anyways, maybe they just go grab the bomb just for silvers, but I really don't think we're gonna see it.
I think at this point we're looking to be like, maybe if I think your assessment is correct, like if we're gonna force ourselves into looking for that. But what I want to hearken to that being a little bit less of a thing we can do. The other 5-6 crystal is the Palace of Darkness, and the biggest item that we're looking for now is the bow, and that's kind of lowers the chance. I mean, the bow could be on pyramid, but it makes it harder to pair.
And we've also got catfish. Nobody's checked catfish yet either.
And as far as overworld goals, I think that might be the only ones that are left.
No. Neither one of the runners have checked King Zora.
Oh god, and we've had access to that for a long time.
Yes. Both runners, when they did their fake flippers, I mean, they could have grabbed the rupees in library if they really wanted to just be like, I'll have the money for Zora so I don't have to leave it behind. But, yeah.
So right now, so now in the overworld, we can do pyramid into a pair of fish. Alright, and we're heading into simultaneous cold stare fights. Jet having a slight advantage as they have the butter sword over the tempered. And that's 2 puffs down for Jet. Though Chisame comes out a little bit, they come in, catches up in the fight just because they're able to corner them, and that's just the small key.
Yeah, they already found all 3 items because you saw them. They skipped big chest, they skipped the 1 chest in the spike room here in Ice Palace. They already found all 3s. That's why they made a beeline from the right side all the way to Cold Stare.
Alright, so now it's looking like progression's either overworld based or locked in a currently non-completable Palace of Darkness.
Oh, I mean, it could. It could be in Turtle Rock.
That really depends on a key layout.
I mean, even the bow could technically just be in the first chest, and then Fire Rod behind the bow.
Because of course that's how this game wants to be.
Yeah, it has to be unfriendly somewhere. It teased him with the you might have to run Agata. Nah, I was just joking. You don't have to do Aga. Yes, both runners have flippers. Actually, I think that's right. I don't think...
You know,
Chisame? I don't think he did check shovel, did he?
I don't think that shovel's been checked yet because they picked it up from the they haven't done purple chest either.
Yep, purple chest hasn't been done, so purple chest, shovel, no, green pennant has not been turned in yet.
And imagine purple chest and shovel are going to be done in the same go.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Now the question is Chisame thinking Turtle Rock, or are they just grabbing that and kind of thinking about what they want to do now? Oh, they're going to do King's Tomb.
That'll give them access to red mail, and that'll feel a little bit better coming through the rest of this seed. No, it's getting harder and harder to believe that Chisame will make their way up to the Tower of Hera.
No, I could honestly see Chisame dipping pod without a bow prior to even thinking about Hera.
So if we end up with a close race if they end up staying close toward the end, sword difference could come into play.
And then the other reason I would not see Chisame going back is the fact that Chisame skipped over Hera twice now.
At this point, they're pretty much thinking that's last location for anything at this point.
Yep.
Even though they do not have the pedestal knowledge that Jet has at the moment.
They might not be worried about the pedestal just because the fire rod is still, you know, we don't know where it is, and until fire rod's actually found, pedestal's not even on the table.
You definitely make a valid point there. Alright, so now here we are into the Palace of Darkness, and we'll see if we are bow locked. So my question is, if we come up bow locked, do you think you just go straight for Turtle Rock?
No, I think you still potion glitch.
I suppose you're right with the access to the potion glitch.
Because if you would leave now and you go to Turtle Rock and then you find the bow there, or you check anything else, that means more than likely your fire rod's probably sitting in pod. Whereas if you can potion glitch and you find the fire rod, then you can just, you know, go to Turtle Rock, clear it out, and if you find the bow, then you're in go mode.
And there's another useless hint to find out what's fire locked in Misery Mire, though we've already been there. So far, the hint system, it did have one good outcome with letting us know where the boots are. But beyond that, meh.
Yeah, that hint definitely impacted the runners' routing immediately. They got that, and it's like, okay, time to go get my boots. I don't care if they're locked in the dark, I'm going for my boots. So we had a big key and a small key on the right side. Or the Bollock side.
So we'll see what the...
Oh, go ahead.
So we'll see what that big key may be locking away.
Yeah, and as far as Jet in Swamp Palace, Jet is actually going to save a little bit of time. He did go left side right away. He didn't skip. There's our ether medallion. It's not needed for anything, but you got it now. That off chance you find a unique item is here. It can't be the ether, and it can't be the bug net either.
Good to knock off some of those ones we don't need.
Actually, now that I think about it, if we get a unique item hint, there's a good chance we need that item too, because I think our unique items are down to bow, silver arrow. Well, we know silver arrows. So it would be bow, powder, which we don't care about the powder because we've already done the fake powder, bow, fire rod, powder, and single arrow. So a 50% chance if we see a unique item hint for somewhere we haven't been that it's something we need.
course, I think the silver arrow may have been in the chess game, but it's hard to tell because of what that check does to items.
I believe when Jet did it, because he was the one that saw the single arrow, it did not make the actual, like, the cool chest noise that it does when it's the actual physical item.
I always wondered if there's a way to tell the difference because of just how the chest game alters items. It turns 3 bombs into single bombs, and
the other reason is I don't believe when Chisame did it, they did not get a single item. Yeah, Pod was a complete bust, but... And with the big key being on Bowlock's side, if Jet decides to just wait until he has the bow, that will probably be a fairly quick dungeon for him.
So... looks like Chisame is going to go ahead and meet our pair of fish.
And Pyramid as well. I don't believe Chisame checked Pyramid first. Yeah, right now though, you know, if you're rooting for Jet, you want the bow to be on Sahasrara, and then if you're going for Chisame, you don't want to see the bow on Sahasrara.
But the question is, how long are we going to go before we see that? You think Jet's going there next?
I think Jet might go there next, just to turn that in, because it's been sitting there for a very long time. Pod is kind of one of the best places as far as item density, and if it's bow locked, you can always make the decision. It's a nice quick, oh, it's bow locked, I'm out of here, because, you know, chances are that the only thing I can find is a fire rod, and there's probably a pretty good chance it's not here. Chisame checked all the chests except for King Helmasaur.
Which is completely unattainable at this point.
Yep. Any chests that were outstanding would have been keys. It is not Catfish, just got 10 arrows.
Alright, so what's the King of all scams been holding on to in logic since about 15 minutes in? I've got a long walk up here to find it yet.
Jet is actually going to go check the fish first as well. It's not going to dip Pod.
Alright, so what is our big fish holding on to today? And that's just $20.
So, yep, Zor's a scam.
Imagine that!
So, Chisame is either making the turtle... Nope, not making hair. It looks like is going... Oh, never mind. Pulls the hook shot out, though. Making the Hera play, maybe? On Spike Cave. Yeah, it was 1 or 2 items.
It was both items were locked in here.
Yep, Chisame is finally going to make the play in a Hera.
So that's going to be time given back to Jet now. I mean, we're down to a furious hunt for the bow. And the fire rod. This is... Turtle Rock's gotta be the play.
And there are still some overworlds. Like, we haven't checked that shovel. Haven't checked purple chest. The green pendant is outstanding, which that we're gonna see that next. No, we're bow and fire rod from Go mode.
Alright, so now we're finally going to see if that long ago finish of Pendant Thieves Town is going to come up for Jet here. All right, what's the Kakariko Village Elder got for us today? 3 bombs.
Yep. So Thieves Town did not pay out.
So that's 1 pendant completion that comes out complete bust. So since the blue pendant is going to come up bust on Chisame's side, though, this is just time given back to Jet, and as we're just looking, where's the bow, where's the fire rod? I mean, there's 2 items left, and it's gotta be Turtle Rock or just two checks that are going to be 2 overall checks that you can pair, but are kind of in an icky place.
Yeah, and Ped is completely dead. We had a check on it. It is just 3 bombs. Now the question is, what is Jet going to do after this? Is he going to check this and leave, or is he going to bottle? Potion glitch. Nope. Is he leaving? No, he's going in as well. Okay, so this was kind of one of those places he could have gained time, but...
Unfortunately, not to be this time. That's a blue pendant for Chisame, as blink and you missed it, Moldorm's gone.
And I think at this point Chisame is going to head over to Turtle Rock.
With the door already open, actually, they'll have to open the door.
Yes.
But they do have the key after fighting the Quake Medallion on Bumper Ledge, the cape being in Swamp Palace. Logic decided you needed to make a lot of trips up and down this mountain. Alright, as we shake the turtle head away, we'll see if the next items that'll put us to the end of the seed are hiding within the Rock of Turtle. Hint tile saying some arrows require the hammer. Thanks. I'm so glad.
We know where arrows are now.
And we know that there's money and bombs and GT. I mean, there's the bow! And with that note out, Chisame's out.
I'm sorry, chat.
Alright, so now they have access to finish off the Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace. We're still looking for the Fire Rod.
I'll go to my stake after the race, everybody.
As I prepare the village to burn the witch, we'll see what the Helmasaur King is holding on to, as well as what the Armos Knights have been holding on to for so long, though. That's only 2 checks, and the Fire Rod still could be in one of these last 2 overworld locations.
Yes, indeed.
But at this point, you're thinking, okay, I'm at least gonna go there and knock out my dungeons that I need to complete.
Yep, I got a couple crystal dungeons to go. They both have items on the boss. Let's go.
And somebody has to at least pick up 1 key before they can head back to the Helmasaur King, and they know where they had to be.
Jet is bailing on Pod, and let's see where he's going next. He needs to go to Bumper Cave and pick up Quake, and I think that's what he's about to do.
So picking up the Quake Medallion on Jet's side, we will see what is behind the Helmasaur King here. As we get ready to go back towards our last final checks here, remember, this is part of the Link to the Past Randomizer League. We are just finishing up Week 2 today. Week 3 next week will be inverted starting tomorrow, although there are some makeup races that had to be picked up for Week 2 tomorrow.
Yeah, I believe there's 2 races, if I'm not mistaken.
But go ahead and check out the website, join our Discord, and keep having fun with us. There'll be a lot of more of these matches to be found on the Speed Gaming network of channels, as well as the ALTTPR League channel added to Twitch. So if you like what you're seeing, come on back with us. This is a Lake Hylia division match. A lot of great racers and a lot of good teams to be seen here, and next week is going to be entertaining.
Xiaopan, yes. Pendant dungeons were complete trash this season and not needed whatsoever. Unless you really want the butter sword, that's about it.
And the butter sword being the only thing really of value within the tower, and that was in the Tower of Hera. Everything else coming up nothing. Looks like Jet, though, will be able to make one of these last 2 overworld checks that we have not seen yet.
Yes, doesn't have the shovel, but I believe that was Hammer Peg, so he'll get that, and I'm sure we're gonna see that. So if Fire Rod is here, behind shovel or in the purple chest, then that almost feels like Jet might have an advantage a little bit, because he won't have to double dip the mountain. Maybe. We'll see.
It's a tough call. And remembering the stakes here, Phenomena Drifters, which is Jet's team, if they win this, they keep themselves locked in first place. Team Kappa really needs these 3 points to stay relevant. We're still in the early stages here, but only 6 points to be gained per week. You definitely want to get as many points as possible in the early set, especially if you're less confident coming into the more difficult modes that are coming in the coming weeks. As a reminder, Week 3 is inverted, Week 4 is the co-op run, Week 5 is Crossworld's Key Sanity, and with the final week being just a standard palette cleanser.
And co-op week is also all dungeons. It is not just a regular, open.
Good thing to note. That changes, that makes things a lot more interesting, I feel. As we get the magic bat check here.
The 20 rupees that we saw earlier. All we know is Helmut Sword did not have anything what we wanted. We're looking for that fire rod now.
Alright, and we're heading back to the Armos Knights in just a moment. So I think at this point our silver arrows are very much dead.
Yeah, at this point both racers have butter sword. I don't see any reason why they would be doing that. They know the fire rod's not there.
There's a piece of heart.
I think we're gonna see it on Digging Game.
Alright, Shovel Spot, what you got?
We're not Digging Game Shovel Spot, but we're still digging. Jet with the swag dig.
Strike the earth, that's the fire rod! And at 123.32, we're not quite go mode for Jet, because they still have to go to Turtle Rock. But yeah. Chisame has now got their shovel in hand, and I think this keeps Chisame ahead.
Yep, skipping purple chest saves some time.
Which was checked a long time ago.
Yep, so at this point, Jet's going to go into Turtle Rock, be able to full clear it. We'll have the bulls. It's going to be in go mode, but Chisame just enters go mode at 1 hour and 24 minutes.
Just about on the nose. They're heading up onto Turtle Rock. They just got to gun their way through it and head into Ganon's Tower afterward. Alright, so taking that full magic canter on the way up the mountain for Jet. They're gonna have their... So this... I mean, they're at least gonna have to be able to one-shot through all of Turtle Rock, but unfortunately they're gonna have to go back down to these other 2 dungeons before they can find themselves in a true way out.
Yeah, so Jet's gonna go into Turtle Rock. Jet'll go into Turtle Rock, get the bow, but Chisame is already entering Turtle Rock and just needs to basically clear the dungeon out. And Jet'll, probably follow a very similar path through Turtle Rock, but has to then leave the mountain afterwards, clear out both Eastern Palace and Pod before coming back up the mountain for GT. So Chisame does have a fairly sizable lead right now.
And it's interesting, and a lot of that lead can be attested to, I mean, that Thieves Town dip did cost Jet a fair amount of time, and just Chisame following the Seed's logic just slightly better. I mean, sometimes you just, I mean, not to say that Jet's plays have been incorrect. In the overall scheme of things, just not in this particular seed.
And we have an early big key as well, so there is a, small possibility we might see a laser bridge skip. And there's Jet in go mode with his bow.
And that's 1 hour 26 minutes, though the difference in these go modes is the only thing that Jet has to go through is the Turtle Rock, while there's still a Pod and Eastern Palace boss to be completed on Jet's side. Making our way past the chain chomps on Chisame's side. So if you're a Team Kappa fan, you're definitely feeling good because this was a need this is a match they definitely needed a win from to stay relevant in the standings.
Yeah, if you're a Team Kappa fan, let's see some Kappas in chat.
Alright, making our way through Turtle Rock now. And looks like we are gonna get... There's our Arrow of Destiny, confirmed to not have been in the chess game.
I'm actually surprised that Chisame checked that.
That does seem like an odd choice on their side.
Grande Perigo, the race, both runners are in go mode at this point. Chisame needs to finish Turtle Rock off, then go it against Tower Jet needs to also finish Turtle Rock, but needs to go back down, clear out Pod and East. Oh, okay, he accidentally opened the door.
It's unfortunate. Just a small glitch in execution, giving a little bit of time back to Jet, but I don't think that's going to be quite enough, barring some execution glitches or just maybe a tile room gamble in Ganon's Tower. Though if you're on Jet's side, do you really feel behind at this point?
Probably, because I mean the bow was like last locationed, and you think about it, it's like the cape. We've had the cape for a while and Quake had access, so it's just like you got to think, if my opponent ever decided it's like I got Quake, I'm gonna head up and check the Turtle Rock. It's and you see that bow, it's like, okay, if they already cleared out Eastern and Pod, I'm sitting probably in a pretty bad spot right now.
They have to wonder if perhaps that Jet would also feel behind, or excuse me, Chisame would also feel potentially behind, just because of having to relatively last location, that having dipped through East the Pod and having gone through Tower of Hera. So we get a nice key placement there.
Yep, I think Chisame might be feeling maybe potentially ahead, just because they did make that skip with Thieves Town.
That is something I had not put into my mind on that side. But
I think the main thing is Hera. You know, running Hera and not having checked that shovel for so long. That might be what makes you think you're behind.
That shovel spot was available pretty early with that hammer.
Yeah, because mitts were available right when we had Dark World access. And Chisame's routing early on, that's kind of what gave them that access to the shovel and everything. It just, you know, turned in everybody's favorite frog. Didn't follow through with purple chest.
Oh, and since that's the end of that, we need to get something started here. Alright, folks, if you are a sub or supporter of any of the Speed Gaming Network channels, that's a channel or a tier of 250 bits or more, get your guesses in chat now. Between 1 and 22 locations, that's where the Ganos Tower Big Key is hiding. Sir Linkalot, what you got?
I'm going to go with chest number 17.
Well, that's my usual guess, so we'll see if we're right.
Yeah. I said that, and then I looked at chat, I'm like, oh, look, I guess the same as you.
That's always my guess. But you can get your guesses in fast and furious, folks, because he's heading right over to the tower. The crystals are already spinning. Alright, the crystals have spin. Spam those guesses in quick. We're heading in again in this tower. Where's that key hiding today?
Alright, we got our first 2 chests.
We're gonna go one into a whole lot of nothing. It looks like we're gonna go for right side.
Yep, it's the typical play when you get a key in one of these chests.
And tile room, no thanks.
Yep, but you skip the tile room.
Right, burning our way through Ganon's tower here. Gonna get some Gibdos out of our way. Have to be careful with our magic pools now. Alright, number 3, magic powder. Number 4, number 5, not what we're looking for. Number 6, 50 rupees. We're going left.
There's our big key, number 7.
Number 7. So if you guessed 7 in chat, we're gonna see who that might be here. And I'd like to give a congratulations to the Fear Agent, the admin and runner of this tournament, for getting that guess correct. Go ahead and get you saved up on the leaderboard. And that puts you up to you are the first to reach 2 wins. You're in the top spot.
No longer tied. That huge, 15 looks like? A lot of people were tied, but Fear says no more.
That was quite a bit of tie there.
So Team Kappa wins the key game. We'll see if
hopefully
Team
they'll
Kappa
win the race.
Yeah, also we'll see if they also win the race. Everything might be coming up Team Kappa.
1, 2, 3. Alright, so we just got a little bit of just some execution up the tower climb is all that's left on Chisame's side. Well, Jet is taking care of that and hammering out the differences with the King of all Helmosaurs. But still have to take care of those Armos Knights, and I don't think they're going to have access to the silvers. At this point, you're definitely not going for them.
Yeah, at this point, no. I mean, if you had Master Sword, I could see spending the time, because at that time, I think you're still saving some time. But with a Butter Sword, yeah, those silvers are like, yeah, nope, not happening.
Thanks for letting me know where they are, but I'm not gonna get them now.
When Ganon asked you that question, did you find these? No, I didn't, but I knew where they were, just so you're aware, so thanks for the hint, but I already was told.
I mean, I knew they were there, but it just didn't leave me a chance to grab them.
They are in the pyramid. They are actually vanilla.
Just obtained slightly differently than they are in the vanilla game. No need to throw them into the fountain. Just walk in and open a box.
Alright, at this point, Chisame is not going to open up any of these chests looking for anything. We don't
Already
need
got the
it.
keys. Already got our key needs met. We just need to go take care of the Moldorm. And, of course, our required geometry test, but we have to make it up there first. Blink and you missed it. That's the end of Moldorm 2.
Chisame may be taking some frustration out on having to kill Moldorm 1 for absolutely nothing.
Not knowing that, of course, their opponent did make that dive as well. Alright, time for some geometry, and that's 2.
Yep, and Jet with a nice quick kill on Armos.
So they're gonna head up and take care of... So now they're heading up to Ganon's tower now. With the left side, they can gain a little bit of time, but it's still pretty much Chisame's to lose. It's gonna take repeated falls at this point.
Yep, deaths, falls, but at this point, red mail, 17 hearts. I highly doubt we're going to see a death on Chisame's side. It would more than likely have to be a number of Ganon falls.
But the king of all bacon is loose, and we're heading in toward the end of this seed. Guess the real question is, what does Ganon have to say for himself today? Your blood will resurrect me. What? I'm trying to think of what that's a reference to.
Zelda 2.
Aha! That game that I don't know if I can ever play. It hurts. Alright, and now we're into phase 3 already, and this is relatively cooperative teleports. I thought I was cursing it. There's still time, though.
Yeah, we still got one more hit, so Ganon's got plenty of time, but... Oh, there's done. Uh-oh. Ganon flees.
Accept your fate! Oh, gee.
It's all your fault, Bungie.
Talking! It's always my fault. Did we find the arrows in the Dark World? We know where they were, but you didn't let me get them.
No, but I got this butter sword I'm gonna spin into you. Give us some nice crispy bacon.
And big thing to note, we did pick up the torch glitch, which we definitely needed to see happen on Chisame's side. Being that this is a silverless fight, we gotta make these spins happen, and losing that potion glitch, or that torch glitch, makes this a lot more difficult.
Yes, it does. Chisame making very short work of this, though.
And setting things up in their advantage. Really a good display of execution on Chisame's side.
I think we've only got a couple more spins.
And actually, just the final one All right, the fanfare's about to start. Get your GGs in the chat. Just a 1x3 bridges. All this separates Chisame from victory for Team Kappa. And with across the finish line, I can announce that Chisame has finished in first place with an national time of 1 hour, 39 minutes, and 55 seconds. GGs to them. Oh boy. Alright, so, Sir Lincoln, what did you think of that seed as we wait for Chisame to hopefully join us here in the interview booth?
I mean, I enjoyed the seat. It was kind of nice. One of those, you know, like I said early, kind of those routing decisions. That's kind of what this really came down to. With, you know, the route was not a straightforward one. It kind of had its twists and turns, especially for the bow and the fire rod. That's kind of what this came down to.
I would agree with you. I mean, it was a tough. It's a seed I'm glad I wasn't playing. Is the first thing I will say, because those were some really awful last locations. It definitely that was one of those times where just routing comes into play, and it's just, and some of these decisions, like having to dive pendant dungeons. I mean, Chisame did part of them, but that dive at Thieves Town was probably the biggest gap, the biggest gap creator of this seed, I would think. And then just how long did you, if you decided to go to the, if you decided to go to Pod Eastern or do other things to find the bow?
Yep, but it looks like we do have Chisame in the waiting room, so we're gonna go ahead and bring him.
All right, and with us now is Chisame. GG's to you.
GG's.
So, what did you think of that seed?
I don't know. It felt rude.
I'm going to definitely agree with you on that one.
I mean, at least the boots hit was early. I don't know. It was sort of a mess.
I mean, breaking it down, the boots hint, the only one bringing of knowledge is we had 3 hints that were locked away by the items they were hinting at, and then a lot of it just coming up useless. But I think the main crux of the seed was just what you decided to choose was the best worst place for the bow to be hiding. The fire rod.
I actually thought fire rod was in TR, and then like the bow was on laser bridge or something stupid. I was like, oh great, this is such an awful seed. And then I found the bow after what, sequence breaking pod. It's like, okay, I guess fire rod's on Armos Knights or what, Helmasaur? It's like, nope. Oh great, so which garbage location is left?
It's in the shovel spot, of course.
I don't even remember where we got shoveled, to be honest.
Hammer bags.
Oh my gosh.
So you could have had that a lot sooner, potentially. But that's to know. It's just like this seed didn't lend itself to being able to route it what definitely felt effectively. I mean, there was what, 3 or 4 trips, like maybe even close to 5 or 6 times you had to climb the mountain to get things. With the flippers being on Ether, but you didn't have access to the Master Sword yet, and
like a glove in Eastern, so that was Forest. And then you had to go in the swamp for Kate to get Quake.
Just like a series of unfortunate locations, I think is what you could call this seed.
What's rough is the only reason I didn't do shovel was because I told myself I didn't want to do purple chest, so I just ignored it completely. It's like, no, nothing's on purple chest. I'm just gonna skip it for now, and like skip the shovel on my way because that's only 2 spots.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of those 2 spots coming up big. It's just a comedy of what awful place do you want to find the end of this seed. Wrapping it through here as Jet is making their way up. How do you feel? So that puts your team Kappa up to 6 points. How do you feel going forward for your team as we head into Week 3's inverted matches?
Inverted is a fun format. But if anything, I'd have to throw a big shout out to Jet. I had some difficulties yesterday, and he allowed a reschedule in the first place. So props to him. And this match wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Jet. So go Jet!
No, absolutely, and it speaks to the sportsmanship, because Jet could have taken the free win for their team, but decided they wanted to play this out for real. So definitely a good display of sportsmanship, and just getting it through a tough, what ended up being a tougher seed that potentially, I mean, say yesterday's RNG is a lot kinder of a seed to both of you. There's no way of knowing.
Well, that's rando. Sometimes they'll be nice. Sometimes you'll get awful double dip everywhere seeds and unnecessary full clears of the longest dungeons in the game.
And just who wants to put on their mountain climbing boots and go up there 8 or 9 times?
Yeah, it's weird when you choose the full clear ice and mire over ascending Death Mountain again and again and again.
And ice, mire came up nothing, ice came up nothing. Swamp had the cape, which gave you Quake.
Which told you to go back up the mountain.
I knew you once. In the mountains. Alright, so Jet taking care of the King of All Bacon now. Linkalot, any questions or comments on that one?
Not that I can really think of. We kind of touched base on everything.
So, Chisame, do you think you will be out there on the Inverted Week?
Yeah, I'm representing my team again in Inverted Week.
And then how do you feel about your matchup coming in next week with in that Inverted Week?
I get to bully a friend, so it can only be fun. I believe I'm up against Ultima or Shrinex, so it'll be fun to play 1 versus 1 against them again.
Oh, absolutely. And you'll be next week. You are up against 2 Pearl, 2 Furas, which is Shrinex, Scary Olive, or Ultima. Just a few more. So I guess as we realize that we're going through a silverless seed, how did you feel when you got that silver's location?
Hey, vanilla!
Indeed, and just never a point where you actually have a chance of going to get it.
Yeah, I think with, what was it, Swamp and Pod were the 5/6s?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, once you get the bow, you don't really want to go back just for silvers. Because you've already killed Armos and you've already killed Helmosaur. I don't think it's worth it.
Now, say 2 swords are hiding in Ganon's tower. Do you go for it then?
Oh, definitely. At that point, Master Sword, the double length is just awful.
Alright, and get your GGs in chat, folk. The fanfare is playing for jet082, and they are crossing the finish line here at the SRL time of 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 14 seconds. Get your GGs. That was a tough fight. Alright, so we should get Jet in here momentarily. I would imagine... So I guess before we get that point, so we know what your thoughts are for next week. What are your thoughts on the league overall, Jet? Or excuse me, Chisame.
The league is pretty cool. I guess unlike the other tournaments that we've been having, there's a lot of burnout when you play so many seeds. So it's nice being able to, cheer for your team winning, so you have sort of participation, but then you also have a break. And I think I think burnout is a lot of things people underestimate.
No, absolutely. And we have now been joined by Jet in the chat. GG's to you.
Hey, GG.
GG's, Jet.
Definitely a shout out to the show of sportsmanship to allow this match to be played after the unfortunate things that happened last night. But what did you think of this seed that we got this morning?
I think that Ganon's teleports were junk.
I mean, they were fine up until the last section, of course.
It was interesting from a logic standpoint, because you had I don't think I got anything the first time I went to Death Mountain, except that I knew flippers were there, so that allowed us to just fake flipper, but like stay within logic essentially. But you had to go up to you had to get mitts from the thief, generous man, whatever he's called. Go up to get cape, not cape, hookshot plus flippers while you're up there, I guess. And then go back in the swamp to get cape that leads to Quake to go into Turtle Rock to finally get your bow. It was like a double, triple dip of Death Mountain required, basically.
Yeah, you were climbing that mountain a lot.
And it's time consuming, so you sort of don't want to do it. So I felt pretty good waiting until I got mitts before going back up to get my flippers. And that allowed me to get hookshot. I'm like, okay, this is worth. Maybe I should have just followed it, and I could have went right into Swamp instead, which would have got me Cape, and I could have got Quake. And then the big deal was just, going to get Fire Rod from Shovel and Hammer Pegs. Like, it was sort of ridiculous in that respect. But I ended up doing a lot of other things, I guess, that it felt bad after a while. Like, I felt good getting hookshot, and then it just got worse and worse. I'm not getting anything for progression. It was just stuff was in weird places, I think.
Yeah,
and I was really hoping that you skipped something, but you skipped Turtle. You told me in the chat you skipped the back of Thieves, so that worked out.
Yeah, like I thought you were like in GT and you skipped Boots or something and hadn't gotten the hair out. I'm like, oh, you're on a Boots hunt. This is great. As long as you don't remember the mirror.
No, so because Bow was my go mode, I just cleared Turtle Rock while I was up there. So I think you said you went up before you had Fire Rod. I think Fire Rod was your go mode.
Yeah. I cleared Pod in Eastern, and then was really sad that they didn't have the Fire Rod.
Right.
Let's just let it see this is a comedy of icky locations, I think, is what this seed really came down to.
No good hints. Like,
no.
We got the Silvers hint, we got the Boots hint. So the Boots hint was nice. I got that before getting Boots, so I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go
Both
do Sewer. Yeah, absolutely. Go get those Boots. But
both of you
then, like, Silvers,
said, screw this, I want this now.
that takes too much time. Like, considering Pod was one of my last dungeons, I'm not gonna waste time to get Silvers. There's just no way.
I think the only way that, like I was suggesting with Chisame and Sir Link-a-Lot, the only way that anyone would have gone for the Silvers is if both the other two swords were hiding in GT.
Sure. If we only had Master Sword, then maybe it would be worth it. Especially if we didn't do Vitress yet. But by the time I got that hint, I already killed Vit. I didn't have Bow, so it didn't even matter. But it's just not worth at that point.
Yeah, Vit was dead, Armos was dead, Helmasaur was dead. Like, no one needs the bow anymore. Alanmo was dead. Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah. It's about like a minute and a half to go pick it up, so you really need like a lot of stuff available to you to do the Pyramid Fairy. I mean, if it was somewhere else on the way, absolutely, just pick it up, but Pyramid Fairy is like a minute and a half, so...
Yeah, I think literally only Master Sword would be the reason I pick it up.
That seems to have been the consensus through everyone we've been talking to about this seed. So, Jet, that move that keeps your Fernandra Jitress at 9 points. How do you feel going into week 3 for your team?
Well, we got inverted. That's a tricky one.
It's the best game mode.
What's that?
It's the best game mode.
I beg to differ. Insanity. The best game mode, but Inverted's neat. I like what Inverted has to offer, and it sort of makes you think. Yeah. I've seen some very interesting locations for early game items in Inverted because it finds ways to really hide stuff in the light world when you don't have Moon Pearl.
There's interesting things that they wouldn't think a bunny should be able to do when they access the light world.
Yeah.
I've been moving our way toward the end of our so does that mean does your general dislike of Inverted say that I won't be seeing you next week, or
me? I like Inverted fine. I'm planning on racing on Tuesday.
All right. Well, you will be. Let's see where you guys are up against in the schedule. You guys are. If I can read, you guys are up against Spherefinity. That puts you with GFE, P-Train, and Sabatender. Is there anyone you prefer not to be up against?
I'm just here to have fun, play some races. I don't really care who I race against as long as we have fun.
That's a good way to say it. So, what do you think of the league as a whole?
You know, I've sort of digging this format. I like having a team. So we've had some practice races just within the team, and just having that. And in the past, I've done the like co-op tournament with cross product usually, and those are fun. Like having friends that you can like just run the races with. And in this mode, with being in a league, having the team and just like. I think I heard you guys earlier talking about having like teammates that you can cheer on, watch their races, and hopefully not suffer that burnout because there's 3 of you and you only have to do 2 races. Well, just 1 race per week at most. So it's nice because we had a lot of burnout from the last big tournament.
And the last big tournament was set up to. It was set up as a showcase of the many modes. It got to be a long one.
Yeah, I mean, I like that we were able to pick different modes. That was definitely a positive. But there was also so many races. And I like doing a lot of races, but at the same time, I did nothing else with my evenings. Just like practicing or playing races. It was crazy.
No, I definitely agree. And this is still an excellent showcase of many modes that are coming up. I mean, we'll have co-op, which I think will be a lot of fun to watch, because it's co-op all dungeons. So being able to spread out and talk to each other and try to figure out how do we get through this seed the fastest. And then also looking at Crossworld's Key Sanity, I mean, that's almost hell mode, and see a showcase of execution, not like that we haven't seen for a while, and just being able to keep all of the pieces of the puzzle together when there are many pieces flying around in every which direction. I was caught up in a hurricane.
But this tournament's neat, I have to say. It's pretty neat.
All right, so any final thoughts before I send us off to the end of this broadcast?
Well, thanks for restreaming, commentating, tracking.
Thanks, team. And again, thanks, Jet, for allowing this to happen.
Yeah, it was fun.
Definitely shout outs to you. All right, so if you have not already given these runners a follow, please do so. They've definitely put themselves out there and put on a great show. GG's to the both of you. I definitely appreciate giving me the chance to hang out with you guys and commentate this race. If you like what you see here, please keep it locked to the best Randomizer League on the Speed Gaming network of channels. There's a lot of great stuff to be seen yet. A lot of fun randomizer coming up in the near future. And go ahead and keep an eye out on the schedule. Is there still a lot of races to be seen today? There will be more. I believe there's more. Actually, let me look at the schedule here.
Yep, I've actually got the schedule up already. As far as the league, the 2 races, the other one already finished. The league is done for today. It will pick up tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm not sure if it's being restreamed or not. We don't know that just yet. But the earliest will be 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. As far as what Speed Gaming has for the rest of the day, a couple of Super Metroid Prodigy races just started over on Speed Gaming 2 and 4. Other than that, it looks like on Speed Gaming 2 at 2:30, we are going to have the Spoiler Log Tournament bracket reveal, followed by an exhibition race of the Spoiler Log Tournament, and then plenty of other races. We got Azure Dreams, The Messenger, Ori and the Blind Forest, Donkey Kong Country 3, all sorts of fun stuff for the rest of the day.
Shout out to Kitty Kong. I love ya. All right, so that puts a bookmark on the schedule. Keep your eyes locked on the Speed Gaming network of channels and a lot of other fun things. I'm happy that we all get a chance to share all of this great stuff with you. I even see some Splatoon 2 tomorrow. That should be a lot of fun out there. So with that, I am Bungie to the Tree.
And I'm Sir Linklot777.
There's a lot of speed gaming out there with us today, and for now, I will say good day and good rando.